All right, back here on the Charles River Basin one more time today. The petite final in the Charles River Lightweight Invitational between MIT and Radcliffe, racing for 3 team points for the winner, 2 team points for the loser. Stanford will go head-to-head with Wisconsin and BU in the grand final. Not set to go. Temperature 50 degrees. Still pretty calm on the Charles with a slight tailwind. We are off and running the lineup for Radcliffe here today. Freshman Mackenzie Parks is the coxswain. Senior Naomi Lang is the stroke. Senior Gabby McNeil in seat 7. Freshman Josie Teal in seat 6. Kristen Faulkner is senior in seat 5. Elizabeth Payton in seat 4. Sophomore Lana Anderson in seat 3. Freshman Marina Felix in seat 2. Genevieve Shaw is the bow for a Radcliffe boat that just missed the grand final by a total of 2 seconds. They were clipped by the Badgers of Wisconsin in a race for that good time. For MIT today, this is the second time we've seen their first varsity boat. They had the 5th time of 5 in the preliminary heat earlier today. Their first varsity boat is coxswained by Chloe Thacker. Priya Verhagen is the junior stroke. Junior Sharon Wu sits in seat 7. Sophomore Liz Martin in seat 6. Sophomore Annika Rawlick in seat 5. Sophomore Michelle Lauer in seat 4. Senior Ann Kim in seat 3. Freshman Kelly Barton in seat 2. And the bow is Sylvia Sarnik. Already some separation here for Radcliffe. They beat MIT by 15 seconds or so in the first race of the day, the early preliminary heat. Radcliffe was 5 seconds behind a number 1 Stanford, and again in that race for the wild card spot in the grand final, missed out by just 2 seconds. Radcliffe settled into a nice 36 strokes per minute rate here, about 500 meters in, with about a full-length lead over the Engineers of MIT. Radcliffe 2-0 in duels this year, beat Princeton and Georgetown. Last week they came in 4th at the Next Cup. Remember last year, won the Eastern Sprints, 2nd behind Stanford at the IRA National Championships. Next week, BU and MIT again here in the Beanpot on the Charles River. Hoping for conditions like this next week, though that may be a little bit greedy. Open water already for Radcliffe. Had a really good time in that first preliminary heat of the day. They were within contact of Stanford through the first 1,000 before the defending national champs opened up a bit of a gap. Senior Gabby McNeil stroking along in that 7th seat. She's out of Montclair, New Jersey, 2nd year on the Varsity 8 boat, an applied mathematics major at Harvard. About 2:50 has gone off the clock as we approach the midway point. Radcliffe headed under the bridge. Just saw their 2nd varsity win the petite final over MIT, and they have a comfortable lead on the Engineers after 1,000 here. We'll see if they kick it up a gear on the back half. Another senior in this Radcliffe boat, Kristen Faulkner, out of Homer, Alaska, out of Phillips Academy. Majors in computer science at Harvard. Some youth on this boat, too, though, including freshman Josie Teal and Marina Felix, along with a freshman coxswain, Mackenzie Parks. An open water lead for about 600 meters at this point for Radcliffe as they approach the MIT boathouse. Perfect day for rowing. Weather should be like this again tomorrow for Marathon Monday here in Boston. A lot of runners out on either side of us on the Charles. Comfortable, crisp rate for the black and white as they expand their lead a bit on the Engineers. Just saw the coxswain Mackenzie Parks look over her shoulder, check where MIT was, and pass along that information to the rest of her team, though they can all see it looking back at a lead that is growing and growing. Have Radcliffe right around 36 strokes a minute again. They've been very consistent since coming off the starting line. 500 meters to go. The lead is still open water back to MIT. Engineer rowers trying to urge on their teammates from up on top of the MIT boathouse. Radcliffe, though, building on its lead inside the final quarter of this race. .525 has ticked off the timer. Radcliffe was just a shade over 650 in its preliminary race earlier this morning. Missed out on the grand final by a whopping 2 seconds. So very fast time in that first heat. Looks like Radcliffe will finish 4th today, which is where they came in the national rankings. Stanford 1, BU 2, Wisconsin 3. Black and white churn for home here, about 200 meters to go. MIT sitting in second. They've been able to hold relatively similar gap from about 1,000 meters home. Still a couple of links for the Crimson, or the black and white of Radcliffe. So MIT will earn 2 points. Radcliffe will earn 3 more team points. They'll win both petite finals. 6 total team points today in the lightweight invitational. Radcliffe coming to the line. Couple more strokes. Black and white take the petite final in first varsity at 6:42.08. Engineers roll home about 10 seconds later, roughly 6:52. So Radcliffe wins the petite final in both second varsity and first varsity with pretty good times, taking advantage of these good conditions on the Charles to earn petite final wins in both events today. Again, they'll be back on the water here next week, BU and MIT, for the Beanpot Trophy here on the banks of the Charles River. Well, for the crew on the Charles, Bill Spalding saying so long. Radcliffe is your petite final winner in both the 2V and first varsity at the Charles River Lightweight Invitational. To watch this replayed broadcast or other on-demand content, you can visit the Ivy League Digital Network online at ivyleaguedigitalnetwork.com. This has been a presentation of the Ivy League Digital Network.